Hello and welcome to Into the Light. I'm your host, Edina Mauvana. Today we have David Hulse. David is founder of the Academy for Spiritual Awakening. He's a minister, teacher, author, and healer. He guides seekers beyond belief into direct experience of divine within, blending ancient wisdom with modern insights. David's inclusive teachings empower lightworkers to embrace higher consciousness and co-create humanity's spiritual evolution. Thank you so much, David, for being here. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Oh, thank you, Adina, for having me. I'm excited to be with you today.
Yeah, amazing. And I know we were just right before the recording talking a little bit about your background. I was really excited to connect with you because of the academy you have for basically spiritual awakening, and sending people there and hearing about the work that you do is a big interest of mine. And I just really love how passionate you are about talking about our ascension process, how we're moving into 3D, 4D, 5D consciousness, and how important that is for anyone who's taking a spiritual awakening path right now.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, so tell me, David, a little bit about your background, because I know from doing some research on you that you yourself have over 60 years of experience in ministry and preaching all of these things on a spiritual level. So, can you tell me a little bit about that, what got you into the work, and really where this is so passionate for you?
Okay, I was born in a very fundamentalist Christian family and world, but I never fit in. Looking back, I realized that I didn't come here and learn to be different. I came in different. And what I mean by that is I think there is a massive group of souls living on the planet that is incarnated through some interesting portal that they didn't fall deeply asleep into the illusion of the dream of 3D. And those people have had a different rapport with time and space from the very beginning. They sat and they heard traditional teachings and whatever, and just didn't feel resonant with it. And that's the group I'm putting the call out to. We call them light workers. I call them the 144,000, which is not a number of people, but a vibration of a nine, which is completing all incarnations in 3D and are ready to ascend into 5D. But the thing is, we got to go through 4D. And that's what we're
Right.
going through now, because 5D is getting such strong energy that everything that is a karmic in 3D is being intensified. And that's why you're seeing what's going on politically and what's
Mm.
going on in the world today. This is actually a good thing. It's the emerging of our own pathologies coming forth for healers. And that's why so many call for healers and light workers.
Yeah, can I ask you about the how you said that some of the souls who are incarnated here at this time are not falling into as much of this veil of illusion? I think you mentioned I think of the illusion of separation. So this forgetfulness or this, and you mentioned that, how it's like a dark sheep. You're like the black sheep of the family, or the outcast, people who don't fit in. So you awaken, but you realize that you were always a little bit different. So tell me a little bit about that piece. Where is it that certain souls have more of a barrier versus other souls that have more of
Mhm.
a connection with what's
Mhm.
beyond that veil?
Well, again, I just believe that there is a what we call critical mass, meaning enough souls that have incarnated at this time in this generation that has come into the earth on a unique vibration or portal. Most people that come into 3D come through the portals that are open around, say, Iraq, Iran, and that area, where we call the cradle of civilization, North Africa, whatever. But I also think there is a star seed group that is incarnated this time. My connection is with Pleiades, for instance. And I think other people who are beginning to understand that even science is showing that 80% of atoms is made out of star material, the same thing that makes stars up. So we have a star group of people on here that have come in connected to different constellations beyond just an Earth experience. And I think these people are the people that's been searching, looking, not fitting in. We've tried all the different religions. We tried to believe it. We tried to keep our family happy. We tried to keep culture and society happy.
We've had
And
the whole
and
buffet experience.
exactly. And now we're just going, okay, I had it out here. I'm going within.
Going within. Yeah, I love that. And so that is where we're really seeking knowledge from within. And tell me a little bit about that locational specificity you were mentioning about regions on planet Earth where these portals have been coming in. I know you mentioned Pleiadians and that sort of starseed background, but being into parts of North Africa, you mentioned, like where, how is this happening geographically specifically that you're
Yeah.
seeing?
If you go through evolutionary history, most everything will take you back into that part of the country. In fact, the Sumerians were the first ones that really came in and they were very advanced. They had agriculture, they had everything. So everybody didn't come in on a low vibration and then evolve. A lot of people were evolved when they came in and they've devolved because they've forgotten who they were and they've
Mm,
lost their memory of really where they came from. So now we have joined with this teachings that we start at birth, we start as a body, we start as the race, gender, sexual orientation, or whatever that we're born into, and that's not our beginning. There is that part of us that we have forgotten about ourselves. And I think that there's a group of people, I hope I'm one of them, that is trying to put out a call to help people to resonate to that potential in them that has been put to sleep by our third dimensional systems, society, education, religion, whatever one you name, has formed us into a self that we are not created to be. And we've
mm.
lost who we truly are. And I think people are at a state of consciousness to begin to really remember who they are and where they've come from. And when that group reaches critical mass, we're going to see the shift everybody's talking
The
about.
shift, right? Yeah. And you describe it as the programming that we have is like a recessionary. It's a like
Yes.
you described it as a backward momentum rather than a forward momentum. And so tell me a little bit about that because yeah, it's like how our 3D reality is constructed with whatever systems, race, religion, and how are all of these things now being really deconstructed or deconstructing even like patriarchal systems of control that we're really experiencing right now.
Absolutely. I have put together a community of people here where I live in Charlotte for the purpose of studying what does it mean to transition from a 3D model of what a community is to a 5D model. I think
Mm.
one of the biggest questions that's out there today is I don't want to be religious anymore, but I want to be spiritual. I think
Yeah,
that's the
I'm
big,
spiritual, not religious. We always grew up
that's
with
right.
that sort of
So,
category.
yeah. So, religion, for instance, is always about another time. It's worldly. It's I die, I go to heaven. But spirituality is about heaven is now, heaven is in me, the spirit is in
Yeah,
me,
the kingdom of heaven and
as
right
within
religions have
that
that.
message.
Yeah.
Yeah. And religion's more of a message of escape. We got the doctrine of the rapture of the church. We're going to go
Mm.
flying away. We're going to escape out of this horrible world. But
Yeah, or Jesus is
spirituality,
coming to save us. That's the
that's
big one.
right.
Yeah.
But spirituality is more how to keep us in a higher state of consciousness in this everyday life that we're living right now. So religion is more toward degenerative humanity. Spirituality is more toward regeneration. Religion wants us to go to the light. Spiritual says, let's be the light. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of things that's shifting in that way. And I think that we're going to have to find new patterns of a way in which we're going to present ourselves. I'm very evolutionary and creationist. So I've created this word crelutionist. I'm a
Illusion. Okay.
crelutionist because I believe they're not against each other. I think they're together. I
Yeah,
think
science,
everything,
and you don't say, "Oh, I believe more in science," because that's what
no,
everyone
no, no,
wants
no,
to
no.
back
That
out of, right?
spirituality is the
Yeah.
coming together of all these things that has been so divided in
Yeah.
3D and separate because they're more complementary as a polarity with each other. Positive, negative, male and female, all that
Mm.
kind of thing is beginning to come together into a different. So I believe that humanity is on a stage of an evolutionary leap into the next level of what it means to be a human being. Now, the religion that I was born in taught me that the divine God created our physical material world. I don't believe that anymore. I believe that that which I serve created a spiritual world that's complete and whole and perfect. And I think that we have forgotten that as we've come incarnated into the world of materialism, and we've lost ourselves. And I think now people are waking up. I think
Mhm.
people are just waking up because it's time for a call to awaken. And I think people are really searching right now and seeking. And that's why I put the academy together. Now, the fact that I've been doing this 60 years tells you I started very early because in the religion I was born in, you could just get the call and start preaching, which I did at 17 years old. I pastored my first church when I was
Wow.
19. But the thing that I did is I kept questioning my belief system. I wanted to know what is the truth rather than what they told me to believe. So I went into a lot of research. One of the first things, Edina, that came to me as an epiphany was nobody in the Bible, for instance, spoke English. And I
Yeah.
thought, then what did they
Aramaic or
say?
whatnot. Right. Yeah.
Yes, I started studying Greek and Hebrew and Aramaic, and I
Mhm.
started finding out that ever the major religions, whether it's Muslim, whether it's Christian, whether it's Jewish, all had a early mystical side to them.
Right.
The
The mystical.
Kabbalah, the
Yeah.
Sufi, yeah, the Essenes. And I thought religion wasn't really formed until the fourth century. So what happened to all of those early people that were closer, say, to Muhammad's teaching, to Jesus's teaching, to Moses's teaching? How much of that's been lost? So
Right.
I've been on a mission to try to restore the context of truth and reality back to people through the academy.
This context is so important because I know that we have a series of sort of messengers, right, or prophetic traditions that we tap into. Abrahamic tradition, monotheistic is primarily what we're talking about. Obviously, there's all the other Hindu and
Yes.
Eastern ancient traditions as well. But how much of this, because I know we were talking about, oh, I'm spiritual but not religious, and so much of the spiritual community is all love and light, and but how much of this is just are we supposed to be like following the rules that these messengers have sent us, following these guidebooks or prophetic traditions that have come to us as the template of what, we should be doing? And how much of it is, oh, we can just do whatever we want. We're all love and light, and there's no
Mhm.
accountability for a rule or like a hell-based reality or punishment that we're going to be incurring. Like, where do you find that balancing, and how do you get that into your community?
That's a very important question that you're
Yeah.
asking. I think that people are searching for right now because there's a quote from one of the prophets that says, "Who shall stand in the gap and make up the hedge?" So that's one of my slogans is I'm in the gap. I've never been extreme this or extreme that, but I've found myself more in the gray areas of life. So I've built a ministry from that level of trying to pull together the best of the extremities together and unify it into something new,
Mm.
something fresh, something that unites us rather than divides us. And I think that's very important. What you're saying, I've really tried to study the founders of most religions all my life. And if you really study them without the religion that was made on them, you will see that they gave room for growth and movement and change and evolution. I don't think any one of these founders meant for their teachings to become isolated in a religious dogma or doctrine. I think they all knew that they was giving a revelation for people to build on and to continue to grow and to mature. And religion has caught us into the box. And that's why I think we're less evolved on this planet. I know we think we're there, but we are not consciously. Technology, yeah, pretty fascinating. But consciousness has a way to go yet to really evolve itself to the levels of frequencies and vibrations that's hitting the earth right now. And that is 5D, 6D, 7D beyond frequencies is hitting 3D. And when that happens, it causes chaos in 3D. Now,
Right.
the most simple thing I give people, and my favorite story, is the little caterpillar that becomes the butterfly. The little caterpillar just
Right.
nibbles on the leaf, not realize it's eating up its resources until it gets to the end and it thinks it's over. I'm over as a caterpillar, but all of a sudden, something, a different set of DNA is awakened in that caterpillar. Uh-oh, something's changing in me. I don't know what it is. And
Yeah.
and that word is even in scripture in the Greek. It says, we shall not all sleep, but shall be changed in a moment. And that word changed in the Greek is metamorpho. So it's
Mm.
talking about our own metamorphosis from these more dense 3D sleeping, illusionary human beings to these 5D awakened light beings that is really going to bring light and transformation to the planet.
And I love that caterpillar analogy because I was learning recently. My son is 10 years old. He's turning 11. And you learn that they totally liquefy these caterpillars when they're in the chrysalis, the cocoon.
Yes, yes.
It's not just a little thing. It's like they're totally dismantling their entire system. And like you said, it's like something is interjected and then they're becoming something completely new.
Yeah.
That analogy for as we're becoming light beings. What do you say to people when they don't really know what to think of all this? And I know you talked about the galactic, people are talking about Galactic Federation, Pleiadian, and different astrology groups. And what do you say to people who are just really confused and just not knowing that framework and they just don't know what to say because it sounds so foreign?
Well, you're saying so many things I could talk about each word.
Yeah.
Let's take the word confused. People are confused, but that's not a bad word. Let's break it down. CON means with, fusion, confusion. What that means is we've left one norm, but we haven't stabilized the new norm and we're in confusion.
Right.
Because we're in shift from one to another. So that's why people feel confused, is because the fact that they're moving away from old norms of 3D and heading evolutionary toward the ascension into 5D. So this is a spiritual thing to be confused. It's not a bad thing. It means it's working. It means spirituality is working for you. Another thing is chaos. I studied chaos in quantum physics, and I wanted to know what the theory of chaos was. And it says that chaos of atoms break down so that they can, out of that chaos, reorganize to a higher level. And I thought, that's interesting. So chaos before transformation. Let's go back to our little caterpillar guy. That caterpillar doesn't go through its life thinking it's going to become an enlightened caterpillar. It goes through it to leap into a different part of the species that it's going to be. So what's going on today is very spiritual. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good to the 3D part of us, but it is so important and powerful of what people are experiencing. They just don't understand it. And that's why we're on this podcast. And all the podcasts that I do and you do, we're trying to help people to understand what spiritually is happening to all of us who are at a level to receive it. Now, if people can't hear it, it's not their time. It's just not their time. I'm not here to convert people to a religion. I'm not looking for converts.
It's like the saying, many are called, and
chosen.
You feel that way. And you mentioned the 144,000. So what do we make of that? Because that sounds very a very exclusive club. But you said it best. It's not like it's not like a group, it's a frequency.
I'm a vibration guy. I've 25 years taught vibration, frequency, and tuning forks and etheric healing. I just sold that company, but that's what I did. So when I see numbers, I realize there's a vibration. So the 144,000 is 1 plus 4 is 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 is completion. So I asked my higher self, what does that mean to me? And it said, because you've completed all your incarnations in 3D. And I think that I'm not alone, but I think there is a creative mass of people that also, this is their last round.
So we've completed it.
They've completed it. We're ready to get off the merry-go-round that Buddha put us on. And Yeshua tried to take us off, but we still didn't get it for 2,000 years. But this is our time now. We're in the day of ascension and resurrection. And I get excited about it because I have a vision beyond the illusion. I see beyond the veil, and I see the wonderful spiritual things that are happening to all of us on this planet. We're heading for a planetary awakening that's going to be fantastic.
People say, the shift, when is the shift happening? Or we have obviously the biblical reference to the rapture, end of time. So tell me a little bit about how do these concepts map up with those things that people are maybe more familiar with as far as timing goes?
As we move out of 3D, we're also moving out of time space as we know it, because space is third dimension, fourth dimension time, space time, according to Einstein. So the fact that we're out of time, it doesn't mean there's a time. Online, I keep hearing people give dates. This is going to happen on October 20th, when the moon is this and that and another. And I've seen this for 60 years, everybody trying to find the date in which it's going to happen. But I'm going to use a scripture here, but it says, no man knows the hour nor the day.
Right.
And because we're creating it, we're co-creating it. There is no calendar. There is no time. There's no year. It's going to happen when enough of us come together in an awakened state and bring enough consciousness to it that is going to create it. We are now, our destiny has been put in our hands. In our hands. It's not in religion's hands. It's not in the politicians' hands. It is in our hands who are waking up and taking responsibility for co-creation.
Yeah, that's why I guess you said how we're seeing so much of the fear-based constructs. Things are in a disorder, dismantling.
Exactly.
That's why I guess you would say maybe the karma that we're dealing with right now, timely wise, is just a reflection of us needing to heal and process all of that. Maybe it's the generational traumas in our lineages or whatever's surfacing right now on an individual level. It's just a reflection of everything that's happening in the collective, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love my country. I love who I incarnated into, but I'm
Yeah.
not blind to the fact that we have a lot of karma. A
Mm.
lot of karma. This nation has a lot of karma. My particular origin has a lot of karma, and
Yeah.
it's come to face us. But it's not coming up as a punishment. It's coming up as an opportunity to heal and to grow and to mature and go to the next level of what it means to be a human being.
Yeah. So how does this really play out with your ministry and the people who are in your spiritual awakening academy as far as the correlation between the healing journey coming up with
Mhm.
obviously there's a lot of people with religious trauma that need to find new models and ways of doing things. So tell me a little bit about how people are having these experiences healing through a lot of this stuff.
Well, thank you. What I've done after these 60 years, I've tried to go back and try to retrace my experience and make it a pathway for others.
Mm.
It's like somebody where there wasn't a road, and then there was a path, and then there was a road, and then it was a two-lane highway, and then it was an
Yeah,
expressway.
chartered the course, right?
That's right. So I've tried to do that. So, for instance, I have a Bible 101 class. Now, that's for people who's coming out of fundamental literalism, patriarchal religion that's been
Mm.
hurt and disappointed. And I think I take them back into the Greek and the Hebrew and explain, for instance, sin. What is sin? What is hell? What is all these things that they've tried to frighten you with fear because they don't mean what they're saying in the Bible literally. So I have courses for that all the way through. And then I've
Mhm.
got courses that are more to the spiritual. Then I got courses to the psychological, the mental part of us, which has been really messed up in many ways. Then we got the physical. We got the body. I said to the group recently, we're being not diagnosed by medical Western medical. I run to a doctor and my tests are okay, but I feel this. So I'm telling people, go to an energy person. Go to an energy practitioner and get energetically diagnosed because what is happening to you is not the old third dimensional medical order. Now, I'm not against that. Go to the doctor, see if it is. But if
Yeah.
they're telling you that nothing is wrong with you, according to their textbook, then you got to realize something energetically and spiritual is changing in you, especially in this time of the shift. So there's people, and I've trained people all over the world to do energy work, to find out what's in your etheric blueprint, to find out what is going on in your epigenetics and all that kind of
Mm.
thing. And we've got people like that all over the world now, and people need to know about them and to realize that their answers will lie with those people.
Yeah, so many people are trying to break free of the pharmaceutical reliance system and having us all get diagnosed and just we want to be treating things more holistically on top of whatever benefits Western medicine provides. I think we all agree that you should go to the doctor when certain things happen, but not necessarily for all the things that we're being fed within that medical system. So yeah, it's a big thing to break away from relying on that and people have to heal the best way that they can find. So yeah, I really love that and people need community and support, right? So I tell me a little bit
Yes.
about how the academy really provides that for people who are interested.
Well, we do. We meet. In fact, tonight's one of our meetings. I do a monthly meeting with the students,
Mm.
and we talk about different subjects and let them talk to me about what's on their mind and whatever. And so I do believe in community. You take the word church in the Bible, it's ekklesia, which does not mean a building. You don't go to a building to go to church. You are the building, you are the church, and we need, and it's a word that means community. So
Mm.
that's why I told you I put a community together here where I live for that purpose of
Yeah, and
how
modeling
can
what this 5D ascension
exactly what
community
that
can look
means.
like.
The things I just read to you, the difference between
Mhm.
spirituality and religion. I'm not against religion. I think a lot of people maybe that serves their need for where they are. But a lot of people have outgrown a lot of their religions, but they still want to believe in something beyond themselves. And I think that's where we need to provide a space for them to come and work this out and figure it out.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of outgrowing that's happening on a collective level as we are more and more interconnected globally. That's what one of the things that technology advancement and now with AI, things are just ha becoming so much more of a web, like interconnected in that way. Yeah, I think it's really important to have resources in place for that outgrowing process because I think spiritually, that's where people find the best community and support system. Yeah, I really love that. And so, David, tell me a little bit about where people can find you if they're listening today. Where's the best place to find this spiritual academy and this for
Sure.
spiritual awakening?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me today, and I want to thank all our listeners that are out there. And if you're listening and you felt a witness within yourself, maybe you didn't understand everything that Adina and I've talked about intellectually, but you understood it somewhere in your soul, in your spirit, in your gut, in your essence somewhere, then I would love to invite you to check out just David Hulse. That's Hulse like pulse with an H, davidhulse.com. And we have there an Awakening Sampler, which is a free resource that offers a glimpse into transformational teachings and tools that can help you to gain clarity and help you to move along your path a little bit quicker and faster. I'm a great student of Gnosis, of the Gnostic Gospels that were taken out most of our texts that we know today. And I really think that people need to understand that there's a lot of answers for us now that was taken out by the institutions of organized religion that is empowering us right now. So gnosis just means direct knowledge. And I think we don't have to have the priest or the preacher or the rabbi or the whatever. I think right now we can reach frequencies that we start getting these direct experiences. Now we call them epiphanies. An
Right.
epiphany
Yeah.
is a thought that you would have never thought.
Yeah, or it's like your intuitive ability, right? Is that connection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that that you explained a little bit about gnosis because we obviously have heard about those Gnostic texts and
Mm.
leaning more into those ancient wisdoms and breaking away from what came after as part of just what's
Yes.
more man-made.
Exactly, man-made
Yeah.
doctrine and dogmas. So really, again, I say to all of us, it's an exciting time spiritually. You're not an accident. You didn't just show up here out of nowhere, but you come in with divine purpose. And maybe if you're looking for something because you're not being fulfilled, don't look outside yourself completely, but look within yourself
Mhm.
because something is about to waken up for you.
Yes, so that's what we're all doing in this spiritual awakening process, whatever traditions or wherever we were on the planet incarnated, whatever the case may be. I just love that. I love talking about it, David. I'm so glad that you could be here today to share a little bit more about your work. Any final thoughts, words of wisdom you'd like to share with anyone listening? And I know we talked about where they can find you, but anything you'd like to wrap up with before we end?
Well, I just want to say again, if you're out there and you've really felt a resonance with anything that we've talked about today that was new to you, but you had the feeling of, I knew that, but I'd forgotten it. That's what you want to look at. It's not learning new intellectual knowledge from a book or something, but if it awakens your own innate intelligence, then you're in the process of the awakening. Welcome to the community of the awakeners.
I love that. Welcome. Welcome home. That's what we say
Yes,
too.
yes.
All right. Thank you so much, David. Hope we can
Thank
talk
you.
again in the future. And it was a great episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for what you do and the space you're providing for us.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
You too.